There are 60-year-old men who are stronger, leaner, and more physically capable than most men half their age. Not because of genetics, not because they never stopped, because of what they've been doing, quietly, consistently, for decades. The habits start inside the gym, how they warm up, how they lift, how they rest. Then they move outside it, how they eat, how they sleep, how they manage what the day does to their body. And the last two habits have nothing to do with training at all. Let's go through them one by one.
Habit 10. Neural activation before any load. Most men walk into the gym and grab a bar. That's not a warm-up. That's asking a cold engine to run at full throttle. Men who are still building muscle at 60 spend 10 to 15 minutes on neural activation before any loaded movement. Bodyweight squats, band pull-aparts, dead bugs, glute bridges. No weight, no rush, just the body waking up in the right sequence. Here's why this matters more after 40. The central nervous system takes longer to reach peak motor unit recruitment as you age. That threshold, the point where your nervous system can actually access fast twitch fibers, doesn't arrive the moment you walk through the door. A man who skips this window and loads a bar immediately is lifting with a nervous system operating well below capacity. He's using compensation patterns without knowing it. He's putting load on structures that aren't ready for it. He doesn't feel it that day. He feels it 3 months later when something that shouldn't hurt starts hurting. The 60-year-old who's stronger than you isn't warming up because he's careful. He's warming up because he knows what he's actually activating, and it isn't the muscle, it's the signal. Habit 9. A loading ramp before every compound set. Before any heavy compound movement, these men run loading progressions of 40, 60, 80% of working weight, low reps, full rest between each. This isn't muscle warm-up. The activation protocol already handled that. This is neuromuscular calibration. The nervous system learns the movement trajectory. Stabilizers fire in the correct sequence. The joint arrives at maximal load with the motor pattern already established, not figuring it out under pressure. Men who skip the ramp go straight to working weight expecting full technical execution without rehearsal. The body complies, but it compensates in ways the man doesn't notice in the moment and pays for over months of accumulated articular stress. 2 habits in, no working sets yet. That's the point. What happens once they actually start lifting is where things get uncomfortable for anyone who thinks they already train correctly.
Habit 8. Deliberate eccentric control on every rep. Watch a 60-year-old who's built different train, and the first thing you notice is the speed, or the lack of it. Every rep, every set, the weight comes down slowly. 2, 3, 4 seconds on the way down. Controlled, intentional. No dropping, no bouncing, no using momentum to get through the hard part. Most men treat the eccentric phase, the lowering, as dead time between the real work. It isn't. It's where most of the growth happens. Eccentric contractions recruit type 2 muscle fibers, the high-threshold fibers with the greatest hypertrophy potential, more effectively than the concentric phase. The mechanical tension generated during a slow, loaded lengthening of the muscle is the most potent stimulus for hypertrophy available without adding more weight to the bar. Habit 7. Full rest between heavy sets. Everything about modern gym culture pushes shorter rest periods. Supersets, circuit training, keep the heart rate up, stay efficient. Men who are stronger at 60 than most men are at 30 ignore all of that between heavy compound sets. 2 to 3 minutes, sometimes more. Full rest, no compromise. This isn't laziness, it's phosphocreatine resynthesis and central nervous system recovery. Heavy compound sets, squats, deadlifts, presses deplete phosphocreatine stores and create significant CNS fatigue. Both recover with time, not with willpower. A man who rests 60 seconds between heavy sets and goes again is training with depleted energy systems and a fatigued nervous system. He's not building strength, he's building cortisol. The next habits happen outside the gym entirely. And for most men, that's exactly where the problem is. Want a strong and healthy body? Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button.
Habit 6. Protein distributed across 4 daily windows. These men don't eat protein once, they eat it 4 times. 35 to 40 grams per meal. Breakfast, lunch, afternoon, dinner. Not because of discipline, because of how muscle protein synthesis actually works. There's a ceiling per meal, around 35 to 40 grams in men over 40, after which additional protein gets oxidized as energy, not incorporated into muscle. The body doesn't store the excess for later, it discards it. The same 150 grams of daily protein split across 2 meals produces measurably less total muscle synthesis than the same 150 grams across 4. Not a marginal difference, a documented one. Most men eat one large protein meal and call it handled. It isn't. Habit 5. Sleep as a training protocol. These men don't recover between sessions, they build during them. 70% of daily growth hormone secretion happens during sleep. Cortisol hits its lowest point. Muscle protein synthesis from the previous session runs at peak intensity. The window isn't optional. It's where the training becomes result. Men over 40 sleeping under 6 hours have measurably lower testosterone than men sleeping 7 to 9, independent of training, diet, or supplementation. The man who trains hard, eats right, and sleeps poorly is systematically undermining the first 2 with the third. Sleep isn't support for the program, it's where the program actually runs. What happens outside the gym in the other 23 hours determines whether the training accumulates or dissolves. The next 2 habits live there, and most men never address either. Habit 4. Accumulated movement throughout the day. They move all day, consistently, without calling it exercise. NEAT, non-exercise activity thermogenesis, is the caloric output of every movement outside formal training. Walking, climbing stairs, carrying, standing. Research documents that active men's NEAT can exceed formal training expenditure by up to 300%. For men over 40, elevated NEAT sustains insulin sensitivity, reduces systemic inflammation, and keeps the peripheral nervous system responsive between sessions. The man who trains hard for 60 minutes and sits completely still for the other 15 hours isn't recovering. He's deconditioned between every session. The gym is 1 hour. The body is running the other 23. Habit 3. Active stress management. Chronic elevated cortisol, the hormonal profile of a man under sustained stress without recovery protocol, suppresses testosterone, accelerates muscle catabolism, and blocks post-training recovery regardless of what happened in the session. Men who are stronger at 60 have an active downregulation practice. Diaphragmatic breathing, walking in nature, analog reading, not as wellness ritual, as physiology. Unmanaged stress isn't psychological discomfort, it's a hormonal instruction telling the body to burn muscle as fuel and store fat as reserve. The heaviest training program doesn't override that signal. It competes with it and loses. 2 habits left. They're not about what these men do, they're about who they decided to be and when they decided it.
Habit 2. Consistency without perfection. The perfect program doesn't exist. The program that never gets abandoned does. Detraining research is unambiguous. Neuromuscular adaptations begin declining after 2 weeks of complete inactivity. After 50, those adaptations are lost faster and recovered more slowly. Every start and stop cycle carries a physiological cost that compounds in one direction only. 80% effort sustained for years outperforms 100% effort sustained for months, every time, without exception. Habit 1. Athlete identity, not gym-goer identity. No supplement delivers it. The men who arrive at 60 functionally strong don't think of themselves as people who work out. They identify as athletes. That distinction isn't semantic. It's the filter through which every daily decision gets made. What to eat, when to sleep, whether to train when motivation is low. Behavior follows identity, not the other way around. Waiting for results before claiming the identity has the sequence backwards. Deciding first changes the behavior that produces the result. That's not motivation. That's architecture. The question isn't whether you want to be strong at 60. It's who you're deciding to be today. What did you think of this video? Drop your honest opinion in the comments. I actually read everything. Hit the like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, click the subscribe button.